Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. It's Deanna here today, and today I'm going to be working on the Live Pants by Mood Patterns. Well, Mood Fabrics. These are free patterns. Mood puts out a bunch of free patterns. If you have not checked them out, make sure you check them out, by different designers. And I love the patterns. Most everything I've made has turned out great, with the exception of one pair of pants. But I will say that the instructions sometimes are a little lacking. So I am here today so we can sew them together. I'm going to show you just exactly how to do it. Let's do it together. And hopefully it'll work out, because this is my first time sewing this pattern. Let's go. Alright, time to get started. I cut all my pieces and added interfacing to my waistband pieces. And now I've got my pant pocket, my pant front. And I have this little mark right here where the pin tuck line is. And I don't think I marked it at the bottom. So I'm going to go right here to the bottom. And where this pin tuck line is, I'm just going to put a clip or a pin, however you want to mark it. So that way I know that that's where the end of the pin tuck is going to go. So that way we can go ahead and create that pin tucking. All right. It's going to be hard for me to do here on the mat because, yeah, it's just going to be hard. But anyway, find the front. I want to make sure that I'm doing it on the front of both pant legs. So here's my front of my one pant leg, and we're gonna find right here, is it the front? This fabric is this is the front. This fabric is so hard to tell what the front is. All right, so here's my line, and I'm just gonna go by this line right here that I have. It feels like it's gonna go, yep, that's exactly the line. So thankfully I have stripes on my pants, so it's easy. I'm going to fold this up, and it's going to fold up 1/4 inch. So I'm going to fold right at that line and give it a steam. If you don't have a line, you're just folding straight down the front. And you can mark it if you want to mark it first. Like I have a mark here, basically, quote unquote mark, because I have this stripe. But if you don't have a stripe on your pant or whatever, you may want to mark it where that line is. And you're going all the way down to the bottom, folding it wrong sides together. I'm going to do the same for both pant legs. Remember that they're opposite each other. So I want to make sure that I'm doing the right sides right way. Because especially with this fabric that is so hard to tell which one's the right side, I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way. All right, I'm going to head over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew in 1/4 inch all the way down with a straight stitch to create that pin tuck effect. All right, our pin tuck is done. So now we're going to steam it towards the front. You can actually steam it whichever way you want to. If you want to steam it towards the front, if you want to steam it towards the side, it's really up to you. But there's this pin tuck is finished here. That was a simple way to just do a cute little pin tuck. All right, now for the pockets. So I know that this pattern comes with pocket bag facing and all that stuff, but I'm going to be using the same fabric for the pocket. So I'm not going to be adding all the facing and all that stuff to the pocket, even though I did cut it, because I don't think I need to, since I'm going to be using the same fabric. So I'm just going to grab the actual pocket, and I'm going to do, place it right sides together here against the edge and sew it, because then we're going to add the pocket bag on top of it, and that will be my pocket. And since they're all going to be the same fabric, it's not like it's going to be showing something different. You want to do the lining just at the edge if you're going to have like a different fabric, but I'm using the same fabric, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm going to sew this here at this raw edge, just at this edge right here, and right sides together, because then I'll attach my pocket bag on top of it after. Now for my zipper, I'm going to go ahead and start by doing a few things. First of all, we're going to grab our pieces for our zipper, and I'm going to finish the raw edge of my pants here at the front and all the way down the front. I'm gonna finish the raw edges because I don't want them to fray. So I want to finish before I sew them together. And I'm actually going to finish the raw edges of the outer of my pants as well, because I want them to be finished. And I'm going to use a serger to finish up the raw edges. Now I know that one part has got a little bit of a lip here where you're going to be attaching the zipper to. So keep that in mind. But I want it to be finished. And then I'm also going to grab my fly facing, and I'm going to go ahead and finish all the raw edges as well of that. And then for my fly shield, I'm going to grab it and fold it at that seam. I mean, at the mark that they gave you. So it's like halfway. And I'm going to sew the bottom and the side, finish that raw edge, because this is going to get attached like this. So I want to have that raw edge finished so that it doesn't unravel on me. So I'm going to go ahead and finish all those raw edges. I just burned myself with my iron right there. You can't see it, but it's burning. All right, let's go finish all that and sew on our pocket. All right, all those are finished. Here's my pocket attached. So we're just gonna steam it out. And you can top stitch, but I don't know that I want to top stitch because I want it to be kind of smooth here because these are dressier pants. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave them as they are. So here's my pocket. And then you can actually, if you want to, because they're fancy, you can edge stitch, which means you fold this seam allowance towards the pocket and top stitch that so that they lay nice and flat. But we're just going to move on with mine. But, you know, that's a really good step to follow. So I might regret that later, because if you don't edge stitch, sometimes the fabric can start coming up like this. But these are my trial pair. If I didn't mention this already, this fabric I got from a thrift store for $1 for like 5 yards. So, I mean, it was just a great deal. So that's why I'm just trying these pants with my dollar fabric, because you just never know exactly how they're going to turn out. So that's what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to open this pocket bag. So I'm going to show you how, I'm sorry, that's my pocket. I'm going to grab my pocket bag and I place it right sides together along that outer rounded edge. And we're going to sew up this edge. And I'm going to do that with both. After I sew it up, my sewing machine, I'm going to go to my serger and serge off the raw edge so that it doesn't fray. Now, as you can see, I did not serge that raw edge on the outer edge of my pants. I figured I'll do the pocket first and then sew it all up, because the pocket will go like this, and then I can go ahead and sew it up and serge it, you know, and finish it off. But I didn't want to do that before I sewed it. And I might want to move my pocket bag down a little bit so that they match, my thin striping matches. Even though I'm not usually the most, like, I don't usually care a whole lot about stuff like that. But since it's really close, I might just go ahead and try to attach it in a way that it's going to all match with the stripes. I got to keep that in mind when I go to sew it and fix it up a little bit. All right, I'm going to do that on both sides. All right, so my pocket should be good to go. Here at the top, you're kind of gonna baste it so it doesn't move from you, and then here at the side as well. And there is my pocket. It actually, this lines matched up really well, which is amazing. So then when I go to finish the raw edge, I'm just going to continue straight so that this attaches here. And then up here, you can just do like a basting stitch because they'll get attached together once we attach the waistband. All right, so we're gonna start the zipper situation, and it's a little nerve-wracking. The pattern doesn't come with great instructions, so we're just kind of go for it. We're gonna go for it with the way that I think we're gonna do it. So we're gonna just figure it out. So I've got my fly. So this is gonna get attached to one side. So what I wanna do is from here where it ends all the way down, we're going to attach these right sides together. So I'm going to place them right sides together. And I'm not sure if the pattern has a marking. It does have a mark. Actually, yes, it does. Where it ends right here, where it has this lip right here, then from there on is where you would sew. But if you want to go ahead and put your fly guard here on top, and go right below it, like right where it ends, we're gonna go down from there and sew these right sides together. The front and the back. I mean, not the front and the back, I'm sorry. The two fronts, right sides together, starting right there where that little divot ends. We're gonna sew that right sides together. All right, so that's been sewn. Now we're gonna turn it right side up. And right here, we're going to grab our fly facing and we're going to place it right on top. And we're gonna sew in all the way up to that spot where we started at. So we basically come in right to the spot where we finished sewing. Gonna go all the way down up to the spot where we came up to. Don't catch the other pant, just stop right there at the edge. Make sure when you get to the bottom to backstitch. All right, we're gonna fold the fly out to the back and steam. All right, so now we're gonna grab our zipper. Here's my zipper. I don't have a black zipper, so that is this size. So I'm using a green zipper, but hopefully once we're finished, you won't be able to see the zipper, so it won't matter. And I'm gonna place my zipper right sides on top of that edge up to where that little extra casing is, like the little extra lip right there. I gotta have a little bit here at the top. So we're going to put it right sides together here, and we're gonna use a zipper foot and we're gonna sew it on. So when you turn it, it'll be like so. And this will go right on top like this and hide that zipper. All right, so let's go sew that on. All right, we're gonna turn the zipper out, and I'm gonna steam it. Careful you don't burn your zipper when you're steaming. All right, and then we're gonna place the fly right next to the zipper, and then we're going to pin this right here closed. Turn it, and we're gonna grab the fly facing, and we're going to sew up the zipper to the fly facing. So move away the pant, and you're just sewing up the zipper to that fly facing. All right, so now the zipper is sewn. So what we want to do is now we're going to sew up that fly down. So in order for us to be able to see exactly where that fly is, you could go ahead and like feel it and just mark it. You can use a ruler and trace it out and mark the little arrow here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and with a basting stitch, I'm going to baste around the zipper fly from the outside, I mean from the wrong side. And then I'm going to change my stitch to a regular stitch and come from the top and sew right on top of my basting stitch. Now my basting stitch, obviously I can pull out, and if for some reason my basting stitch is a little bit off, I can always, you know, kind of remedy that by going on top of it nicely. But I'm gonna go all the way around and then come up right here and then go down, so I can stitch this down as I come around, stop here at the crease and go down to close this gap here. All right, so it's a basting stitch. Oh, I am gonna change my zipper foot to my regular foot. All right, so make sure it looks good from the outside, and then change your stitch to a regular stitch again. Whoop. All these threads trying to get everywhere. And now we're gonna go right over that with a regular stitch to tack it down. Here at the end of the crease, we're gonna turn to close that gap. It's coming along. Now I'll just remove that basting stitch. All right, I'm pulling that basting stitch out. And it ripped, so I need to pull the other one. But I want to make sure I'm pulling the right stitch and not the actual stitch where I just sewed. So let's remove this, and it's the moment of truth. Here's my zipper. Oh, there's so many threads, they're all getting caught. All right, there's my zipper. You can go ahead and top stitch that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my guard here, and I'm going to place it right on this side behind the zipper. I'm going to go this way so that the nice side is on this side, and then we're going to stitch it on. So it goes a little bit farther down, because you want that guard to be there to, like, when you open this up, it looks good. So we're gonna attach it. I'm just going to top stitch it, and at the same time that I'm doing that, I'm top stitching this the fabric kind of away from the zipper so it doesn't get stuck on the zipper. So you can go over here on this side and kind of line it up with the zipper to top stitch it to the zipper, or you can just go from this side and just kind of pin it and line it up. I'm gonna line it up with my stitching so that it looks good, and then pin it and sew it on. Now there's different ways of doing the zipper. This is the way I found a tutorial, and this is how I learned to do it. So if you have a different way to do it that works best for you, I just found that this is one of the easiest ways I found to do it. So this is the way why I do it this way. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch this down and we'll be done, except for I'm gonna go back through here and do a reinforcement stitch here, and then a reinforcement stitch here at this bottom of the zipper, and then we'll be done with our zipper area. Not too bad, right? That was not too bad. I'm actually gonna put my zipper foot back on for that step, so I can come close to the zipper. That it kind of helps guide me. How do we like my green zipper? That's so funny. I'm going to try to persuade my zipper to move out of the way. My zipper pull. There we go. While I'm here, changing my zipper foot, and I'm gonna do a tacking stitch. Here's my zipper closed. I'm going to do a tacking stitch here at the outer edge of the zipper. Whoop. Right here. And I'm just going to see, do I have a stitch? I think I don't want to do one that's, I could just do a zigzag stitch and just kind of go back and forth. All right, just tuck that zipper down. All right, my zipper's done. I will say I'm not in love with the tacking here and here because these are like nice looking pants. I should have probably done a very fine zigzag stitch. So next time I'll know, but here's my zipper. It turned out really well with my zipper fly here. And it looks good on the inside as well. Just gonna have to trim all these little hairs everywhere. But that was really easy way to do the zipper. And the zipper fly looks really good. It matches up. It's a little tiny, like a hair off. That's okay. Again, these are my trial pants. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab, I'm actually going to put these ones aside. I'm going to grab my back pieces and I'm going to sew the crotch seam right sides together. And I'm going to sew it on my sewing machine first, but then I'm also going to serge them. And the same with everything, the next few steps I'm going to do, which is going to be sewing the front and back together. I'm going to sew them and then I'm going to serge them. And I think when I do that, it's when I'll actually serge the sides. So let's sew this up and serge it up and then come back and attach the front and the back. Oh no. Make sure you change your stitch to a regular straight stitch, not a zigzag stitch. Well, and I literally just ran out of bobbin thread right here at the end. Nice. I have another one in the ready. Alrighty, now we're gonna grab our back and front and we're gonna open up and we're gonna place them right sides together. I'm gonna sew up. Actually, I'm gonna finish off. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna sew up, but I'm gonna finish off this raw edge here at the bottom first because I already finished the raw edge of the front, so I don't have to sew it up again. So I'm gonna go do that, but after I sew that up, I'm going to go ahead and sew these right sides together. Don't catch the pocket, just the outer edge of the pocket here. So all the outer edge, right sides together. I'm gonna sew the raw edge of my pants, the back, and then I'm gonna face them right sides together here at the crotch and sew the inseam as well of both of them right sides together. I'm gonna sew it on the outer seam I'm gonna sew on my sewing machine first and then go to the serger and serge it together because I didn't finish the raw edges yet. Now that that's serged, we're gonna grab it right here, match it up, and we'll do one side and then down the other. I was so nervous about these pants, I'm not gonna lie to you, because of the zipper, but I don't know, I think it went really well and I think it was fairly easy to do. I feel like this should let me know that zippers are not as scary as I think they are. I don't know why I'm always like, oh, zippers, but like, and then I finished one and I'm like, oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. And then I have another zipper coming, I'm like, no zippers. And then I finish and I'm like, oh, not too bad. Like, it's like a continuous thing. So when it comes to serging the outer edge of the pants, I'm going to go ahead and first try them on, because I feel like I did go a size up, so I want to make sure that it's gonna fit correctly. So I am taking a little bit of a bigger seam allowance, so I want to try them on first and make sure that everything fits good before I move on to sew everything permanently together, and then it's gonna be harder for me to take it apart, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna go try them on after I sew these on. All right, friends, pants are on, and there's a couple of things that I'm noticing. I think they are a little bit baggy, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach the waistband, and then if I need to take them in a little bit at the sides, I will. After I do that, another thing I'm noticing is I don't love this top stitching. It's so defined, and with these fine pants, I think the top stitching is just distracting. And the top stitching is just attaching that fly to the pant. It's not 100% needed. I can attach it up here and then like do one little stitch here, like a blind stitch or something. So I'm going to seam rip that stitching there and see what that looks like. And then I'm going to try to go ahead and finish them off. And I'll probably tack it down a little bit in like different places, but not with that stitching. I think that will be better. But we're going to go ahead and move along. They are very long right now, so we just need to finish them. And then I'll let you know how it ends up being. All right, friends, I'm going to remove this basting here. Open up the zipper. And I'm just removing with my trusty seam ripper. I'm just gonna remove that. All right, so that's mostly done. I just got to finish that, but we're going to go ahead and move on so that way I can finish up the pants. I need to take that off, but I think that this is going to be much, much better. What I'm going to do though is so that it doesn't just pull out like that, I'm going to grab here and on just a couple places, like where the dark stitching is, I'm going to hand stitch like the fly to the pant, so it's just stuck on. So like right here where the lines are, so that you can't see it, so it's almost like a blind hem, but it also helps. See what the difference it does, that your fly won't just fly open, so you need to have a little bit of a closure there. So I'm just going to hand tack it down, or you could use like a blind hem foot or something like that to kind of stitch it down so that it doesn't fly open on you. But that's what I'm going to do. I think that will be better than having that seam right there. All right, so now for the waistband. And we've already, with this pattern, I found that I've had a lot of things where I don't really understand, but we're just going to go for it and hopefully we can figure it out together. So the right waistband is the one that kind of comes over. So that's going to be, this is the left. I'm trying to figure out which side is which. So I'm going to put this one on the right. So this is my right hand. And then my left one on the other side. And we're going to sew them together. And honestly, the instructions for this part are a little bit like don't really make a lot of sense to me. So we're just gonna figure it out together, like I said. And then for the loops, if I can find them. Okay, for the loops, we're folding them right sides together and sewing the short, that long raw edge to create one long tube that will become our, belt loops. I couldn't think of the word. Starting with the straps, we're going to turn those right side out. Well, I call them straps. They're really loops, belt loops. Okay, I'm going to steam them flat. And while my iron is still here, I'm going to open those seam allowances on my waistbands. All right, now we're gonna grab our, so remember that our pants need to be, the pockets might need to be basted on here. So that way they stay closed. Sometimes what I like to do, if I don't baste them on, which probably should, but sometimes I don't. You know what I'm gonna do though? I'm gonna go to my serger and sew the whole raw edge. Oh, how about my zipper? Never mind. I was gonna sew the whole raw edge because it's really fraying on me. But once I sew it, it'll be fine. Right now it's really fraying. But I'm clipping some pins right down here so it stops opening. Okay, and I'm gonna grab my, oops, that is not what you want to attach to it. Just this fly, not the actual guard. I want to grab my waistband and we're going to attach our waistband on. Right sides together here at the edge, but we want to go ahead and sandwich our belt loop here. All right, so this is supposed to make 6 belt loops. Let me make sure. Yeah, I guess it does. All right, well, we're making 6 belt loops, so we're just gonna fold it in 3. All right, 6 belt loops. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt loops on actually, so that way when I sew the waistband on, they'll be attached. So I'm gonna put one here. It doesn't really tell you where to put them, so I'm just gonna put them wherever I think. I'm gonna add one to the pin tuck area. I'm gonna add one to each side. Actually, do I want it on the side? Yeah, I guess that's okay. I'm matching the belt loop right sides to it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 2 more. You know what? No, I'm not gonna put it in the back area because I feel like it's gonna have I don't want a bulge on the side of my hip. So we're gonna put 2 in the back, on the sides, 1 in the middle. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't know where to put a 6th one. We're just gonna leave that 6th one be. And now I can attach the waistband. All right, I just realized that in the back, let me match up this waistband right sides together to the back. I did not baste my back area. My pant was not basted on, and look how much room there is back here if I keep my waistband. So I might have to actually do a little bit of gathering here to fit, and it didn't really call for that. So I don't understand. We're just gonna attach it, kind of put in like a little gathering stitch here, but I don't know why my waistband is so much smaller. Maybe it's because I didn't put in a stay stitch at the top of the waistband and it loosened up. I'm not sure. We're just gonna go for it. Again, these are my trial pants. We'll see how they end up. And if they don't end up looking good, I will let you know. So we're kind of gathering this back seam here to fit our waistband. So we'll have a little bit of like a gather there, but it should be fine. We'll see. I'm gonna go sew that waistband on. Okay, now we're gonna pull it up. As you can see back here, I've got some gathering here to fill in the back. We'll see how this ends up looking. I'll let you know because I'm not 100% sure how this is gonna look. There's some extra fabric here. Oh, I need to fix that. There's some extra fabric here, which is what's gonna go over where you're gonna attach like a hook and loop or whatever it is. I hate that I didn't match the fabric, but oh well. I need to make sure that I get closer here. I didn't, kind of fell off the edge here, but I'm gonna fix that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna fix that, but I'm also going to go ahead and grab my lining and fold it right sides together here at the top, and we're going to sew that and make sure that your loop is coming here, so that way it gets attached, because this band is gonna fold like this and the loop will be there. So matching up your bands. This might not be the right side. Yeah, make sure they match. When I sew it, I'm gonna start here and go up and all the way around and then go down to encase this seam here. That's gonna fold over, and that's gonna be my one side here, my front here. This will encase that zipper when I fold it in, well, when I sew it together, and encase this side as well here. Actually, the sewing part of this is not, you know, like super hard, but they don't give you very good instructions. Like if the instructions were good, it really isn't that hard to sew it up. So I hope that this video is kind of helpful for you. So I'm doing the hard part, which is trying to figure out the instructions. And I do this because I just love teaching people how to sew and showing them that it's so much easier and doable than you think it's going to be, and you can do it. So I love it, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you subscribe if you haven't, and I hope you go grab this pattern and sew it up with me. So far, it's looking like it's gonna be good. Like I said, the waistband is a little bit tight on the back, but that might have been my fault because I did not put a basting stitch at the top because I didn't think about it and the pattern didn't call for it. So I was just like, oh, let's do it, you know, and totally didn't think about that step because the waist sometimes gets loose because there's no interfacing. So the waist gets a little bit like wiggly. So I should have done that and I didn't. So I'm gonna sew up and over and all the way around. And then our waistband will be basically done because we'll flip it over, top stitch. So we'll fold this in and top stitch on the inside and hem and put like a closure here, like a hook and loop or something, and then we'll be done. You notice that at the end of that waistband, I folded that top up, that 1/2 inch up. I will fold up 1/4 inch and another 1/4 inch up and do it at the other side too. And I didn't do it, so I'm gonna do it again. And I'm gonna show you what that is in a minute. And I'm gonna show you why. Okay, so that 1/4 inch fold here is the bottom of that waistband because, I'm gonna trim this up. And you're gonna see it here on this side. I already flipped it, but I'm gonna show you. I only folded, I should really fold it 1/4 inch because of the fact that it's woven. I don't want it to fray. Because what we're going to do is we're gonna flip this band around, and this is gonna get top stitched to this side here, like so. I guess it doesn't have to be 1/4 inch because it's gonna get top stitched there. I'm gonna go bring my iron. I'm gonna show you how to fold it and steam it, and then we're gonna sew it. And then after that, we just have to hem and we'll be done. All right, so I'm gonna fold this out. Okay, so that's folded out. My zipper is cut in there. And we're going to steam it so that the seam allowance of the pant. Oh no, I caught my pocket in here. Ah, this pocket's not supposed to be folded. I have to redo this section here. Telling you, I make the biggest mistake sometimes, and I'm just like, what in the world? What was I thinking? All right, let me fix this mistake by ripping this right here, this stitch, and going and redoing that stitch with my pocket actually open. So I'm going to go redo that stitch. Make sure that my pocket is right on the other side. It is right on the other side. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, so now we're folding the seam allowance up towards the waistband. So steaming that seam allowance up towards the waistband. What is this? I never sewed up the side seams yet because I told you I was gonna try it on first. So I need to do that first. But I'm gonna show you this step, and then I'm gonna go back and fix that side seams. I'm gonna fold this down 1/2 inch here and steam it. This is the top of the lining of the waistband. I'm telling you, if you look at the instructions, none of this is in the instructions. It's the one thing about getting free patterns that, like, it's nice to get free patterns, but if you don't know what to do, sometimes it can be a little bit annoying because you don't know what to do. So then when you fold this seam allowance up, after I go and top stitch that right here, you're gonna fold this right over. So it's gonna encase the seam allowance in there, and you're gonna steam it. The waistband should be nice and folded here at the front, and then you're gonna top stitch it. I feel like I'm gonna poke myself with these pins when I try it on, because I wanted to try it on before I sew the sides to figure out if I want to take the sides in a little bit more. And that's the reason why I had not yet done that part. And then I forgot all about it because I went to work, and I came back from work, and I picked back up where I was, and I was like, so excited, I'm gonna finish this today. But I forgot where I left off. I forgot that there was one more step. All right, I'm gonna go try them on. And when I try them on, because this is how they close, and this will be right on top of that one, like so. And it's really not that much space. They didn't give you a ton of space to put in like a clasp or something. So it's really gonna be like just like a little clasp or something. You probably want to put 2 clasps. There's not enough room for a button really. So you'll probably put like a clasp on the inside where you can just hook it together here. But that's okay. But if you wanted to make a button there, you would have to make this waistband longer on this side, which next time I make it, I probably will make a bigger waistband. I'm not sure, but I think it's looking good. We're gonna go try them on. And while I try them on, I'm also going to figure out the hem situation, how far up. I'm gonna fold them up about 1.5 inches. So it's like half folded and then 1 inch folded on top of that. And we're gonna try them on and see. Like half is something like we're gonna fold over half and then fold over 1 inch. So it's like 1.5 inches. We're gonna see what that looks like. All right, friends, they're coming along. I do feel like, well, I need to do the stitching so that my zipper doesn't show. So I'm gonna do a tapping stitch here. I need to get rid of that bar tack here. I do feel like I need to take in a little bit. My lights are really blinking. It's like, Anyway, so I'm gonna take them in a little bit. I need to obviously hem them, but I think that length is pretty good for high heels. The back looks good, and then I just need to attach the enclosures. Oh my gosh, Halloween special, and then we'll be done. But I think so far so good. Again, this is my trial fabric. Is very thin, so I think they would look better with a more sturdy fabric than this really thin fabric, because they just kind of lay a little bit funny, but that's okay because this was my trial pant. And I encourage you, if you're not sure about sizing or stuff like that, I just almost fell over because I'm trying to like stand on my tippy toes. If you are not sure about sizing and stuff like that, go ahead and make a trial pair. But again, this fabric was only $1, so it was totally worth it. I'm gonna go finish up. I'm gonna take them in a little bit by just sewing the seam allowance in a little bit, finish off that seam allowance, and I'm just gonna sew some like hooky things right here, a hook, so that I can hook them together closed and hem, and that's it. So let me go do that, and then I'll come back and show you the finished results. All right, for the hem, I'm going to do a blind hem. And if you want to know about a blind hem, make sure to check out my blind hem tutorial here on this channel. It's a really good stitch. All right, only one more thing left to do, and that is to add the little hook thing here to close this up. So I'm going to be using, one thing I mentioned was that this pattern doesn't have a whole lot of room for a button, because you can see they just barely overlap here. Next time I make them, I think I'm going to go ahead and make this waistband a little bit longer so I can actually have more of an overlap and I can make a button. If I force it and I overlap it myself more, it's just gonna have this wrinkle here, and I don't want that. So I'm just gonna place it right where it's supposed to be, and I'm gonna use this little hook and eye things. They just, you put one on one side and then the other one on the other side, and they just hook together like this. And so that's what I'm gonna use, but I think I have two of the same color. There we go. And I'm gonna use 2 sets of those because I think I need the 2 sets. And I'm just gonna hand sew them on. And you can hand sew it or you can use your machine, whatever you're comfortable with. So that's what I'm doing. If you don't want to see the thread on the other side, on the inside, you really just want to catch the first layer and go in sideways and attach it on there. Like on this one, if you see here, on the top one, I went straight through. On the bottom one, I just stuck to that first layer. And you can't even see it through on the other side. You can see it on the first one because I went back and forth. And on the second one, I went straight through. And that is it. Now I gotta put the ones on the other side. And we'll be done with these pants. And I will say that there was only a couple of issues with the fit. Just they were a little bit loose, but I did size up. So if I size down, then maybe it would have fit. I think what I need to do next time is keep the waist and maybe narrow down a little bit at the hip. And then I gotta figure out where I want this one to be, because I don't want it to close off weird. Okay, and then for the in the instructions, that was the only thing that I had an issue with. The instructions weren't super clear or helpful, but doing this video will hopefully help you to get it just done correctly. And if you have any questions, make sure to comment below and let me know. Make sure to subscribe, because I do, I do a lot of free sewing tutorials. And if you have any patterns that you're like, oh, this pattern is a free pattern and I would love to see a tutorial on them, just let me know. Comment below and let me know. I'm pretty sure this lip pants was a recommendation by someone that already follows me that was like, hey, can you sew up the lib patterns? And I was like, actually, I have those in my list. So then I put them to the top of the list, and here we are. But anyway, all right, so the last one, and then we'll be done, and I'll go try them on and show you exactly what they look like. I'm so excited. All right, friends, we are done. How gorgeous are these pants? Like, I love how they fit. I love how they turn out. The pockets are great. The pinstripe or the pin thing, whatever, I can't remember the name of it, turned out so good. The zipper, I can't believe I did it all with the limited instructions, but now you can sew it up with me and you have all the instructions on here. On the back, I always have this issue where it's a little bit baggy in the back. I could probably add some darts, but I think it's okay. And a lot of people don't have the same issue I have. So it just depends on your figure. So the hem is perfect. I think they turned out so well. And I know that this fabric was supposed to be my trial $1 a yard fabric. But come on now, these look amazing. They do not look like $1 pants. $1 fabric, free pattern. My goodness. I hope this encourages you to go ahead and go grab the pattern and sew it up with me. And subscribe to my channel so you never miss out any of the free tutorials. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you've sewn them up. Let me know if I've given you the courage to sew them up. And then tell me if there's another pattern you're like, oh, I want to see this one sewn up. So, oh, don't forget to follow me on Instagram where I check up every day. And I'll see you all later. Bye.